Hello everyone, how's it going? I am Louis, the Average Guy 1983. Thank you very much for joining me on this video. I'm excited to announce that I have a new partner with the Average Guy channel, and this is Hiboy. And I want to give a special thank you to Winter from Hiboy for sending over the KS4 Pro for me to unbox, set up, and review for you guys. So without further ado, let's roll the intro so we can get started with the unboxing. Alrighty, ladies and gents, so before we unbox it, let me go ahead and just read what it says here at the top of the box. It says, please always keep the box for any possible future after sales shipment, meaning like if there's an issue with it or you have to return it, it's best to hold on to the box for about maybe 30 to 60 days. After that, you can go ahead and get rid of the box if you don't have any issues with it. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and start unboxing it now. Alright, here we go. Put it on the edge there. All right. Oh, nice. It comes with soft foam, not that foam that starts to make a mess everywhere. So that's nice. Alrighty guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys closer so you guys can see how the layout is on the box with the foam and everything. And then afterwards, zoom back out and pull the scooter out and show you what else comes in the box. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so looking at the box from my point of view, you can see that right here at the front, you can see the handlebar area here with the display. You can see the nice soft padded foam. So that's really nice that they included this. It's kind of like the black foam that you get on the other scooters that doesn't have that disintegrating thing. So I love that. And over here on the right hand side, you have a little pocket that has a 42 volt 2 amp charger, an owner's manual, some hex keys, and some screws to be able to put the handlebar together. So let's go ahead and put this to the side, take out the scooter, and then we'll go ahead and set it up. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and pull the scooter out. Very nice. It's actually pretty lightweight. Let's move the box out of the way so you guys can see how it comes. I like that it comes with the kickstand already pre-installed. That's nice. Let's remove the foam from here. Lift that up. All right, let's tear up the bubble wrap. There we go. All right, so the next thing is going to be connecting this 4-pin blue harness to the handlebar, and then tuck it into the stem and try to tuck it all the way in so that this part right here doesn't end up pinching the cable. You definitely don't want to have a short. Alrighty, next thing is going to be to put the screws on. There's a total of 6. 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and then 2 in the back side. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and put 2 of the screws, and then I'll do the other ones off camera. Just grab the screw with the hex key and just counterclock it a little bit till you hear a little click, just like that. Do the same thing with the bottom screw. Alright, now that we have the screws here set up, because it does have blue Loctite, it's going to be a little bit tighter to put on, but don't worry. You're not stripping anything. You're just making sure that it's locking into place. Make sure you just hand tighten it. Don't over torque it so that you don't strip the screw head. And do the same thing with the bottom one. Alrighty, now that we're done with this, I'm going to go ahead and put the other screws off camera, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the official review. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, talking about the close-ups. Right here, I have a close-up for you of the rear tire so you guys can see how it looks like. It does have a 120 millimeter rotor, which is the large size. The thickness is 2 millimeters, and it does have a cable caliper that's branded Core-Right. So these are a little bit easier to maintain and to be able to adjust. They do require consistent adjustments though, because it is a cable brake. It's not hydraulic. However, it's much easier to maintain because hydraulic brakes do require mineral oil pressure to be able to get the caliper to work properly. And on this one, it's just a cable that you can just loosen up this screw and then pull this wire out, push this in the forward position, and then adjust the braking. And if it starts making any kind of tisk 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 sound, you can always loosen up the screw that's here on this side or the one that's over here on this side, so that you can readjust the caliper and not have that problem. I have already adjusted this caliper already, so that this way I can have the best stopping power for the rear. However, keep in mind that it does have a front motor, and the front motor does have electronic braking, so you have two ways of braking here, which is great, and they work at the same time. You do have a solid rubber tire. This is a 10-inch honeycomb tire, so you don't have to worry about any flats. There's positives and negatives to this. The positive is you don't have to worry about flats or maintenance. The bad thing about it is that you're going to have a slightly firmer ride versus tube tires or tubeless tires. But if you don't want to worry about getting flats, this is the way to go. Moving a little bit forward to the front of the scooter, it does have a kickstand with a little spring load, so this way it's able to stay in place and not move. And here you go, you see that? It's just perfect for this mechanism here, and it's very easy to change if it ever gets damaged. Two screws here to get the kickstand off and replace it with another one. So not a bad choice. Alrighty, ladies and gents, so here's the label on the side of the scooter. This is a Hiboy KS4 PRO. The power is 500 watts on the motor. It has a 36 volt 11.6 amp hour battery for your range, and it does have a max speed of 19 miles per hour based on the display. We'll see how it does under GPS, and your max mileage also depends on the rider weight. As you guys can see, it has a max load of 220 pounds. I am 288 pounds, so I just want to throw that out there. So just because I am at this weight and it does show on the scooter that it has a max load of 220 pounds does not necessarily mean that a heavier rider cannot ride the scooter. It just means that the specs that are on the scooter regarding range is going to really depend on the rider weight. And for most riders, they usually do this weight thing with 160 pound riders in perfect weather conditions and flat surface road. That's just something to take into account. So with that said, we are going to be testing it out and see how it does. I do love that it does have the label right here. I really appreciate it, because on some scooters the label is actually underneath the scooter instead of on the side. I actually like it that it's right here. So let's go ahead and move this a little bit forward so you guys can see the front motor. This right here is the front motor, and this is 500 watts. I'm not sure if 500 watts is the peak power, but it says 500 watts on the label, so we're going to test it out and see how it does. Again, we're going to try it out under GPS and see what each gear takes me to. I know that there's two of them. There's a drive and a sport mode on this. So we are going to be also doing a range test in drive mode and sport mode and see how it does, if there's any overheating problems or anything like that. Hopefully there shouldn't be, but this does have the regenerative braking, or basically electronic braking, so you'll have two ways of stopping. Remember that when you use a scooter to always lean your body back as you press on the handlebar brake so that you won't go over the handlebar. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the scooter. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so talking about the length of the deck as well as the wideness of it, from this corner right here to this corner right here, you're looking at 24 inches long. From this edge right here to the opposite edge here, you're looking at 6 inches wide. So it kind of does have a limited space for your feet, but I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to fit your feet just fine if your foot is under 11 inches when it comes to shoe size. If you have a larger shoe size than an 11 inch, you might have a hard time finding a proper placement for your feet on the deck. But you always want to have one foot in the rear and one foot in the front for stability. You never want to do a side by side. Alrighty, ladies and gents, so let me go ahead and show you guys how you collapse the handlebar. There's a little button that you just push upwards. You can see it right there, pushing up. You push it up and then you open this up and then you slide this handlebar down. There is a tension spring loaded latch here that you put this latch on, just like that. And this will allow you to be able to pick up the scooter with no problem and take it wherever you have to go. Now, to put the handlebar back to place, just push the little latch again backwards and then lift up the handlebar and clamp it back into place and you're good to go. So let me go ahead and show you guys the front of the handlebar. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and looking at the front of the handlebar here, you can see that it does have some nice little features here. You got your display, you got a vertical thumb throttle, you do have a brake lever with a bell that you can press here so that people can hear you as you're riding near them, so they can get out of your way in a nice, manner. Or you could also say excuse me, and hopefully the person that's in front of you does move for you. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It just depends on the situation. Ideally, I like to ride these in the bike lane so I don't have to worry about dealing with people, but that's just me though. With that said, it does have this brake lever that I highly recommend that you adjust, because it comes pretty high up and it can hurt your wrist when you're riding and using the brake lever. So I would suggest you use a 5mm hex key to put at the bottom here and loosen it up. Adjust your brake lever however it is that you want to adjust it, and once you have it nicely adjusted where it feels really good on your hand, tighten it back up and you're good to go. The other features that it does have is that it has a barcode right here in the front. Before you get rid of the sticker, make sure that you scan this with your camera phone so that this way it can redirect you to either the Android or iOS app for the Hiboy app, and you'll be able to get access. So I'm going to show you guys a screenshot right now of the Hiboy app so you guys can see where I'm at, but I'm also going to power it on right now. So let me go ahead and push the power button. There we go. And let me go ahead and show you guys some screenshots right now logging into the Hiboy app. So as you guys can see right here on the app, it does show that I have 48% battery remaining, so I am going to have to charge this battery before I take it out for its official test run. You see that it's in sport mode right now. It does have the option of turning on cruise control, so I like that. If you go down to the lower side on your right hand side and you push the user icon, you can actually get access to your account information. If you scroll down on the list to where it says scooter settings and tap on that, you'll get into this other third page that lets you have the option of turning on or turning off cruise control. Right now it's off, so you see the red icon, and you can even set the minimum speed activation for the cruise control. So it's nice to see that you don't have to wait 10 seconds. You can just say, okay, I wanted to immediately start at 2 miles, etc., or I wanted to start at 15 miles. You can adjust that yourself. And on top of that, you can have your maximum speed. You can actually set your max speed to 19 miles an hour. Or for example, if you're letting your child ride this to school and you don't want them to go 19 miles an hour and you want them to stay at 15, well, you can adjust the max speed to 15 miles an hour and restrict them, and you have full control of the app as a parent. This is good news for a lot of us parents like myself that have kids that go to school on PEVs. On top of that, one feature that I'm really appreciating right now that I immediately turned on is zero start. You have the option of having it off and kicking it to start. So zero start is on right now because I do have my foot broken. So when it comes to the toe, and I do have a sprained ankle, so being able to not have to use my foot to kick to start the scooter is a really nice feature. This is something that Navi is not letting you do with the ST3 Pro, and I don't really understand why, but I'm glad that Hiboy is letting you do it. With that said, you can also change your units from miles per hour to kilometers, so the choice is yours, and even modify the scooter name and change the scooter to whatever you want to change it to. With that said, that's pretty much the only features that you have on the scooter when it comes to the app. So once you set it up, you can always just turn it off, turn it back on, and you'll be able to have the same settings immediately on the scooter, regardless to you having the app connected or not. And as you guys can see, check it out, this is such a really nice looking display. You can see that it has 3 bars, so it is at 48%. If you push the button one time on the power button, you will be able to turn on the headlight and tail light. So you'll see the little icon right here for the headlight. Push the button again and it turns it off. Double click the button and it'll go to drive mode. Click it again and it goes back to sport mode. Those are the only 2 options that you have for the scooter. I suggest leaving it in sport mode at all times so that you get the maximum power and performance out of the scooter. Alrighty, my friends, real quick, talking about the headlight and tail light. When you push the power button one time, you hear a loud beep sound and you see the headlight turning on. Let me show you guys the same thing on the tail light. Alrighty, my friends, now talking about the tail light, when the headlight is actually off and you push the brake lever to engage it, it has a solid red light. However, when you turn on the tail light, it has a solid light, and because it doesn't get any brighter when you push on the brake lever, it starts to flash. So just keep that in mind, that it's normal, your light's not broken or anything. It's just that when you push on the brake lever, it actually flashes instead of it getting brighter like other standard lights, which this is still a nice feature to have anyways. And again, turn off the tail light and the headlight, and then when you engage the brake, you have a solid light. Alrighty, ladies and gents, and facing the scooter the opposite way. Now you're facing the right side where your right hand side would be. You can see that the charging port is located right here. You just lift up the flap just like that, and it exposes the charging port. And the final thing that I got to show you guys that I almost forgot to show you is the rear suspension. So let's take a look at that real quick. Alrighty, ladies and gents, and looking at the last part of the scooter is the bottom of the scooter. The back of the wheel has dual shocks, but they are spring loaded, so it's not super fancy or anything, but it should be a whole lot better for bumps and everything without having to worry about feeling them that hard, especially having two of them versus one. So we're gonna see how that works as well, and we'll get going. Alrighty, ladies and gents, and now comes the final moment of showing you guys the shocks. The shocks are in the back. It has red ones. They are spring loaded, so they're not super fancy. Obviously, for a scooter of $399, you can't expect it to have, you know, super springy shocks, but I'm going to demonstrate what that looks like right now. Here we go. So there you have it. That's how it looks like. So let's go ahead and gear up and take it out for a spin. Alrighty, ladies and gents, so we're ready to go. So like you guys know here, these tires are solid rubber, so you don't have to worry about applying any type of air pressure to them, so that's cool. The brake line here in the back has been adjusted. The front brake lever has been adjusted where it's comfortable on my hand, and we're pretty much ready to go. The scooter is at 100% battery life now, and we are going to be in drive mode, so you guys can kind of see that right there. Hopefully you guys can see it. There we go. It's at 100% battery life. Alrighty, and the last thing, we do have the kick to start feature on, so that this way when you have it engaged, it allows you to not have to worry about kicking the scooter to get it to move. You just push on the throttle and it starts moving. So that's really good for me, considering that I have my foot injury right there and I'm going to be riding like that right now. So let's go ahead and hop on the scooter and see how fast it goes in drive mode and how fast does it go in sport mode under GPS. Alrighty, let's go. Alright, so the scooter takes off pretty smooth. It is in drive mode, and it is a 500 watt motor, so we're gonna see how it does and see how fast does it go in drive mode. So I'm at the edge of the street because this is the best way to take it. We're looking at 13 miles so far. It seems like it's capped at 13. Let's go ahead and push it to sport mode. Alrighty, so I decided to get on the sidewalk and come back here to the same spot and try to do this test again in sport mode and see how it does. So let's go ahead and take off. So it's still a pretty slow takeoff, but again, like, I don't blame it. Number one, I'm 288 pounds. Number two, the scooter is meant to tolerate riders up to 220 pounds. And number three, it does have a 500 watt motor. So we're gonna see if I can get it to go 19 miles an hour. Right now it says 16 on the display. 17. 18. And it seems like it just wants to stay at 18 miles an hour, which is not bad. For a big guy like me, having 1 mile less per hour versus what it claims, it's not so bad. Stopping power is excellent, and it's very smooth but responsive, so not bad. Alrighty guys, so normally I don't like to ride these in the sidewalk, but there's nobody here, so let's go ahead and ride the sidewalk and start heading back. This is a Commuter. I think that this scooter is going to be best suited for slimmer adults and teenagers, but I still think that for the price of $399, I think it's worth it, especially considering, you know, how fast it can actually go. Like right now it says 18 or 17 miles right now on the display, so not bad. And the suspension is doing pretty well. I don't hear any clicking sounds in the suspension, so not bad. It's very well dampened. and again, stopping is fantastic. So all right, let me go ahead and take you guys back to my backyard, and we'll go ahead and talk about the first initial impressions. Alrighty, ladies and gents, so we're back here in the backyard. My first initial thoughts, man. I think that this is a really nice scooter for its price point of $399. The KS4 Pro is definitely a good scooter for, I'm going to be honest and say, for lighter riders. So the statement that it has on the label about 220 pounds might be really accurate. You can probably get away with like maybe 230, maybe 250 pushing it, but 288 like me, probably not the best choice. I'm still going to do a range test on this scooter over there at the Santa Fe Dam bike path in drive mode as well as sport mode, and see what I get. But the brakes feel fantastic, man. Like, they have a really good smooth but yet really good response. So I'm very happy about how the brakes are, and I actually adjusted them, so I could only imagine them being a little bit too on the soft side coming out of the box. So I do recommend you do that. But this will be a great scooter for any teenager or kid or young adult, even slimmer adults going to college, to junior high school, to high school. If you're a parent and you would like to have your kid commute to school on an electric scooter when they're carrying a really heavy backpack on them full of books, the Hiboy KS4 Pro might be the best choice for your child or for you as a young adult. But I think it does great. At drive mode, it said it did 13 miles an hour. And in sport mode, it said it did 18 miles an hour out of the 19. So I think that for what it is, I think it's great. It's 36 volts, 11.6 amp hours on the battery. So that's decent, you know, range for local commuting. So yeah. So with that said, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I do want to thank again Winter from Hiboy for sending this scooter for me to review. I also get to keep it. They don't get to see what I put on these videos, so I'm just being 100% straightforward. I'm not sugarcoating anything. It is pretty good for what it is. Again, it's $399, so that's a really good value versus something like the Segway Max series. So this is a good competitor to the Segway Max series, just so you guys are wondering. Now, is it a good competitor for the Navi SC3 Pro? No, it's not, because the SC3 Pro is 48 volts, 12.75 amp hours, and for that I would need to review the Hiboy Max Pro to be a good competitor for the Navi SC3 Pro. So hopefully I'll be able to get that one sent to me as well in the future. But if you guys are interested in making a purchase, please make sure to click the link in the description so that it will redirect you to the link where you have to go to place your order and see if there's any discounts available. Alrighty guys, up until next time, see you guys later. Peace for now.